Morning everyone, thanks for tuning back in. Going to show you a little something today. I have this here. This is a Chayote squash. I know I've talked about them on the channel before, but I don't know if I've ever showed anybody how you plant them. But I bought this at our grocery store and we like to use them occasionally, so I'm going to try. I've tried growing them before, but the ones that I had didn't work, so I'm going to try planting it again. I know it's not quite time to plant these, but I'm going to do it anyways, and if it doesn't work, I can always go when it's warmer and get more and plant them, because they're pretty readily available around here, because they're just pretty readily available. So I'm going to get the stuff that I need to plant this, and then I'll kind of explain how you plant it if you can get a hold of these, and I'll show you the process. So I will meet you out in the garden. Okay, so I'm here. I'm going to try planting this on this front trellis here, which I've done before. I'm going to give it another shot. I was thinking about doing it in the middle one over there, but I've got the blackberries that I'm trying to support over there, so I don't want to get this tangled up in there, because it will start to vine and it will grab onto everything. Although I'm thinking now I might be able to do right in the middle of them and just keep them off. Now I'm just going to plant it over here, because I'm not even sure this is going to work, because it's not really the time to plant. I'm just doing it anyways. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's starting to get a little nasty down there, so hopefully it won't just die, but it is sprouting. So this is the top. This is where it would be connected to the plant, like the stem would be here. This is the bottom. Now you can see some weird looking stuff coming out from the bottom. That's where the vine comes from, and this part right here is actually the vine starting to come out. So it's sprouting already. This whole thing is basically a seed, and it will start to, it'll start to grow from the bottom. So all you really have to do, I'm going to plant this like this. I'm going to plant this end up, and that's really all you have to do, is just plant it in the ground like that. And so I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to kind of go from behind here, because I don't want to mess up the pumpkins here. And I'm going to just stick this in the ground and water a little bit. And that's really all you have to do with these things. Let me try to make sure I'm getting it close enough to the trellis here. Actually, you know what? Let me come over here a little bit more to get underneath this, where it can actually grab hold right here. And then you just take that end up, bury it in there like that. You can probably go deeper, but we'll see if this works. If not, like I said, in my area anyways, they are readily available, so you can get them really at any time. And so if this doesn't work, I'll try it again. But just gonna pat. I don't want it to be too tight, but I'm gonna pat it down some. The only thing I worry about right now is we'll see if I come out here tomorrow morning and this thing is dug up because of the raccoons, because that's what they do. But yeah, chayote is pretty good. It's not, the most delicious thing in the world, but it is pretty good. It reminds me sort of kind of taste and definitely texture wise of a radish, but without the spiciness. They're a lot more, they're very mild. In fact, if you get a young chayote, you can actually use it in place of apples to make apple pie. There are recipes. If you look up recipes for chayote squash, that's one of the recipes you'll usually find, is a recipe to replace, to make an apple pie with them. But I'm pretty sure you have to get them when they're young, like when they're fairly small. I mean, that one right there is about as big as it gets, but when they're growing on the vine, you get them a little bit smaller than that, and then you just slice it up like an apple, and you make a pie and season it like you would anything else. And because it's got such a mild flavor, it sort of just takes the flavor, and the consistency is similar to an apple. Not quite as crisp, but it's similar. And but I know the last time we ate them, my wife put it in our air fryer, and I can't remember what else she put in there, but it was really good. The consistency was good. It still had a little bit of a crunch, and the flavor was good. You know, it pretty much takes whatever flavor you give it. So, you know, that's one of the good things. So, like I said, if you like radishes, but you're not a huge fan of the kind of the spiciness, the bite that radishes have, you can use chayote squash. If you pick them young, you can eat, like if they're smaller, you can eat them raw. If you let them get like fully grown, it's best to cook them. But you can cook them like we cook them, to where they're still got some crunchiness to it, because we don't like it to be just mush. So I don't know. I don't really know if they're technically a squash, but that's just what they're called, chayote squash. I know they're called something else in Louisiana. I don't know how to say it. I'm not going to say it because I'll get it wrong. But yeah. So next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to check what time it is. I'm going to put some fertilizer spike. I buy these. I like to use these for my trees, fruit, nut, and citrus. And I get these because they're higher in nitrogen. So I'm trying to find where it shows the NPK. It might not. Oh, there it is. 1258, right there. So see, they're higher in nitrogen and higher in potassium than they are phosphorus, because I don't need phosphorus as much out here, because we have so much phosphate and phosphorus in our soil. So I don't need that as much. So I look for things that don't have. And I think technically this is not organic, but you can get organic ones, but it'll be okay. It will be okay. Especially with some of these, it's good to get them. It's not a bad thing to give them a little boost in the beginning. But I'm definitely going to put one right here under my key lime, and I need to put them elsewhere. I need to put them around all the trees, but I'll have to slowly do that. You know, trying to open this with one hand here. I think I got it. Sorry for the rocky phone here. Just bear with me. Hold on, gotta put you down. Alright, amateur production. But that's real life. So, this is what they look like if you've never used them. They look like that. And they come with, so you take one, They smell great. Not really. But you take, this is the bottom part here. This is, it kind of has that chiseled look, and the top part's kind of flat there. So you take this, it comes with this plastic. Usually there's a couple in here, but it comes with this plastic like this, and you put that on there just enough to hammer it down into the ground, and then you take it out, take it off. Now you're supposed to put it around the drip line, so find the drip line is the branch that's the farthest out to where when water drips off of it. So it's best to find the branch that's the farthest away. So this branch is technically the farthest away from the trunk here, but it's on the ground, so I'm not gonna use that one. I'm gonna come here next to it and use this one. I'm gonna go right here. And I don't have a hammer with me, so I'll just have to sorry, I'm tearing this tree up. Well, I don't know what that was. So you get it down to where this is on the ground, and then you pull it off, and then I like to kind of bury it a little bit to make sure it's all covered. So it's kind of a slow release thing. So I'm going to water where it is to get it going. But the idea is, I'll just water this whole thing. The idea is with these, it encourages the tree roots to spread out. And that's another thing. Like, you could, if you put it right in the center, all the nutrients are going to go right down in the center. The roots are going to stay right down in the center. You know, but with trees, you don't want that. Well, really, with any plant, you don't want that. But with trees, you don't want that. You want them to, you know, you want their roots to spread and spread and spread and look for nutrients and dig and go out and stuff like that. So you put it, and plus being on the drip line, when water drips off of the branches, it will land there, and it will basically activate it and spread the fertilizer. So that's how you do that, and it's a pretty easy process. I think I'm gonna do one more, but let me get the box here. Let's find one more and do that. Really, when the trees start getting big, they don't really need the extra fertilizer because they kind of establish themselves. But I'm going to, you know what? Let's give it to the star fruit out here, because I want the star fruit to start producing soon. So let's give it to him. Now, this is where I still kind of get confused, because this is leaning over. You know, it should be kind of up here, but it's leaning. So I don't know if I should put the spike way out here. I think I'm going to put it right in here, kind of out on the outer circle where I dug to plant this, because it's still going to get, you know, dripped on from there. Oh, I didn't get the little plastic thing. Let's go get that. Yeah, I came out here yesterday and I put I cut some of the lemongrass and spread it around here. So it'll die and rot, and it'll start to give some nutrients to the soil. It's been cold the past couple mornings, and I'm not a fan of the cold, so I didn't get a whole bunch done. Not that I have a bunch to do, but I didn't get a whole bunch done just because I hate working out here in the cold. Looks like the cherry tree starting to drop all of its leaves. So I think from reading about these fertilizer spikes, it doesn't give you a time, like do fertilize this time and this time. So, but what I think I'm going to do is fertilize in the spring and in the fall if I use them. Like I said, something like this mulberry back here may not really need it, because once the trees get established, their roots run so deep and so far out and stuff, so they can usually find what they need. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to give your trees a little kick, but especially if you have a tree that, you know, you just recently planted. I'm just digging up a little bit here to give it a little bit of a start. Especially if you have a tree that you just recently planted, or it's just kind of limping along, it's not very happy, that sort of thing. You can always use fertilizer to get it, just give it a kickstart, and then sometimes that's all it needs. It takes off, and you know, I know David the Good will actually just throw some, you know, well, he says that the best thing to use is manure, but with the graze-on issue, that's, you know, that's harder to do. But he'll just throw, sometimes he'll just throw some 10-10-10 down around it, and you don't have to, like in the garden you're supposed to dig it in. With a tree, you can just throw it around on top and then water it in, which I don't have any water. I'm gonna go get some. But yeah, he says that he'll do that if he has a tree that's kind of struggling to get started. It just gives it a little bit of a boost, you know. Of course, he's not overly concerned with chemical fertilizers. He tries to stay away from it. You know, I think he's caught crap from that before. He tries to not use chemical fertilizers, but his thing is, if he's got something that he is trying to grow, or if he needs to get food really quick and he's got some, you know, miracle grow or something, you know, using it once, maybe twice isn't that big of a deal. And I can kind of see that, you know. Chemical fertilizer, I think, is a lot safer than using chemical pesticides and stuff like that. That's the real danger. Or chemical weed killer, like graze-on, or like glyphosate. Those are not good at all. My tea plant's starting to really do well here. Tea plant, I think it's tea plant, Thai plant, it's T-I is how you spell it. But it's getting taller. Some fresh new leaves coming out. Looks good. My fire spike is on full display right now. And we've had it's been bringing in a hummingbird, which is the whole reason that I planted it. So, yeah, I haven't seen it in the past several days, probably because it's been cold. But it'll usually come down in the morning, you'll see it out there, and then in the evening it'll come back. Just a little bitty hummingbird. I don't know what kind of hummingbird it is. I need to look it up. I like to do that with just animals in general, but birds and insects and stuff. I like to, and like wildflowers and stuff. I like to research and figure out what exactly it is. I have an app on my phone that I use called iNaturalist, and you can take pictures of something, an insect, an animal, a plant, and you you try to identify it, and a lot of times it works. A lot of times it finds what you're looking for, but there are times where it can't, so sometimes you have to just guess. But the good thing about it is there's like a whole community that if you identify it and you think this is what it is, but you're not sure, you have other people who can look at your picture and can say, actually, no, I think it's this. And that's happened to me several times, and I look at it and go, oh yeah, I think you're right. And then, you know, so that's a cool thing. And you can keep, you know, everything private, like your location and all that stuff. You can keep that all private, so it's not, you know, you have to put your location in the ID when you first do it, so that it can be used, what they say, research grade. But you can tell it to obscure your location so that when other people look at your picture, they can't see where your location is. So, you know, I'm not all that concerned about it. That's what I always do. I just hit obscure location, and so then, you know, it can be used for research, but then it doesn't actually give away my location. So, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. Hopefully I can get that chayote to grow, and although if it gets cold it will die back. But it'd be nice if it would die back and then come back. So I can just keep growing it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this back in this bag. Oh well. Hopefully I can keep it dry, because if not, these spikes are going to be ruined. I might have to try to put it in something. But yeah, that's all pretty much I've got for today. I know this is a lovely view. I'm trying to do everything with just two hands, you know. Look at my little banana over here. This little guy has been putting on leaves like crazy. So I think it's safe to say it likes where it is. Which is good. I know it will keep it warmer over here for it during the winter, when we do get more cold, when we get frost, and if we get any freezes this year. Putting it right here will definitely keep, if it's going to be like a freeze, then I might come out and wrap the base of it to keep the roots safe. But I've never done that with my other bananas, and they've done fine. You know, they'll die, the leaves will die, and it'll look kind of gross, but then it'll come right back. Like, it's already starting to, you can see it kind of out there. The leaves are already starting to kind of die off of it. Now there's new ones coming out, but the leaves are starting to kind of die off some. But it usually handles it okay, and then it comes back. Now, you know, it was, past couple mornings it's been in the upper 40s here, so no frost or anything like that yet. And then the other thing I'm gonna have to handle here is the moringa. But I just watched David the Good talk about how he safeguards his, and probably what I'm gonna do is, basically he cuts it. He comes in and just cuts it like right there, and then he puts some chicken wire around it, and just this little collar of chicken wire around it, and then he stuffs it with fallen leaves and stuff like that to keep it insulated. And really that's all I'd need to do here, because we're not going to have the severe cold like you will up further north, even in further north Florida, like in the Panhandle and stuff like that, which that's not severe cold compared to a lot of other places. But I'm rambling now, and I know someone has gotten on to me about that before, but yeah, so you wrap it, and you keep it insulated with the leaves, protect the trunk, and then when spring comes around and it warms up again, it'll start to shoot up again, and moringa grows extremely fast. So anyways, that's all I'm going to do today. I will be back out tomorrow doing this. I've been using this in the garden, trying to do it once a week. So I'll be doing that. I'm going to be putting some more of those spikes in some of the trees just to give them some nutrients. But I think what I'm going to do, like I said, is in the spring and in the fall. So until it seems like they don't really need it anymore. But yeah, that's about it for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll go get some chayote if you can get it. I always recommend buying some, cooking it, see what you think. If you like it, you know, you can plant it and grow it possibly in your area. It doesn't like cold weather. If you don't like it, then don't get it. So but yeah, I think it's pretty good, and it's fairly simple to grow. So give it a shot if you're interested. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all next week.